So, hello, take your places. Today we are going to have an unusual lesson. We are going to talk the whole lesson about William Shakespeare. Why are we doing it today, this spring? Why are we talking a lot about William Shakespeare?
Because 15 years ago, William Shakespeare died.
How many years?
4,000.
Too many years. 400. Okay, 400 years ago he died. On what day?
23rd.
The 23rd of April. Well, and when was Shakespeare born? Do you know?
The same day.
Some scientists say that he was born on the same day. Why? Why are we not sure about it?
It was many years ago.
Years, it was many years ago. What do we know?
We know the place of his born.
The place. And as for the date, we know that on the 26th of April he was baptized. Do you know the word? Here. So probably he was born on the 23rd of April. Well, let's see what you already know about William Shakespeare. I will give you short text, work in groups, please, and fill in the gaps. You can have two and write in one. Very quickly. You can write on one, but you can look here. So. Okay, stop working. Let's see what we already know. Let's read sentence by sentence. Alexander, begin please.
Shakespeare was born in 23rd of April.
When we give a date, we need the preposition on. Here we need the year. In what year?
No year.
What did we celebrate in 2014, 2 years ago? 450 years since Shakespeare was born. So when was he born?
Okay, he was born in
64.
In 1564. Oh, good. Let's continue. Женя,
Shakespeare's birthplace was Tashot upon Avon.
does everyone agree?
Yeah.
Sure. Go on Nala.
The names of Shakespeare's father and mother, I don't know.
What typical English names do you know?
Bob.
John and
Mary.
Mary. Yes. Well, go on please, Sasha.
Shakespeare attended the Stratford Grammar School, also known as the... I don't know.
Who knows? It was called King's New School. King's New School. Well, the next sentence.
Shakespeare married maybe Mary when he was in his 20s.
22.
His mother's name was Mary and his wife's name was Anne Hathaway. When he married young, he was 18. 18. The next.
Shakespeare and Anne Hathaway had 5 children.
No.
2.
3 children. Well, go on, Petra.
The Globe Theatre was built in
Where? In what city?
In London.
In London, of course.
Shakespeare died in 1566.
We are talking about Shakespeare because 400 years have passed since he died. So when was he born? 1616. The next. Marina?
Shakespeare had written
How many plays?
some plays.
How many? Both 37 plays and how many sonnets?
140.
And 5.
More?
45.
54. Okay. And the last sentence, Arseny?
The first collected edition of Shakespeare's plays was published in...
Before or after his death? What do you think? After his death in 1623. Well, we already know something about William Shakespeare. Let's watch a video and you will learn something more. And then you will tell us what new facts you have learned.
Murder, revenge, ambition, jealousy, love, laughter. No, it's not your favorite soap opera. It's Shakespeare. Warring and wooing, kings and cowards. Shakespeare's plays and poems have something for everyone. We know very little about Shakespeare's early life in Stratford-upon-Avon, England. His baptism is recorded as April 26, 1564 in Holy Trinity Church. Shakespeare led a normal boy's life as the son of a merchant and public official. At 18, he married Anne Hathaway and was a father within the year. Our interest in Shakespeare as a playwright begins with his membership in Lord Strange's Players. Shakespeare acted and wrote plays for this group. By that time, he had a wife and 3 children to feed, and his writing paid the bills. It was with this troupe that Shakespeare's first play, King Henry VI Part I, was supposedly presented. The play took in the sum of £3, 16 shillings and 8 pence, a fortune in the Elizabethan era. Shakespeare's theatrical debut was a box office hit. Unfortunately, plague struck London in 1592, closing all theaters for almost 2 years. During that time, Shakespeare wrote 2 narrative poems, Venus and Adonis and The Rape of Lucretia, for a wealthy patron. But his true passion was drama. When theaters reopened in 1594, Shakespeare joined the Lord Chamberlain's Men, a troupe which included the most famous actors of the time, Will Kemp, a comedian and dancer, and Richard Burbage, a tragedian. In 1599, Shakespeare became part owner of a new theatre in London, the Globe. To this day, the Globe is considered one of the best designed theatres ever. Part actor, part playwright, William Shakespeare wrote continuously, producing 37 histories, comedies, and tragedies for his troupe to perform. He relied on well-known sources for many of his plots. The bulk of the histories are based on Plutarch's Lives or Holinshed's Chronicles. To Shakespeare, a good story was a good story, and for the comedies and tragedies he borrowed from the Bible, Chaucer, and popular Greek and Roman playwrights. In 1613, Shakespeare retired to Stratford, rejoining his wife and children who had remained there all during his long career in London. By then, Shakespeare was a wealthy, respected gentleman. He died 3 years later at the age of 52. Almost 400 years later, Shakespeare is still a powerful influence in poetry and drama. His plays and sonnets are taught in schools around the world. His works are performed somewhere in the world every single day. Perhaps Ben Jonson, a fellow poet and dramatist, said it best when he said of Shakespeare, "He was not of an age, but for all time."
Have you learned anything new? Let's see. Well, what was new for you? Maybe one fact, Alma?
So I no, so that first Shakespeare drama was Henry VI.
Henry VI. Very good. Well, anyone? Sam?
The Globe Theatre begun in 1599 and was one of the best theatres which had anything.
So it still remains, okay, right? And how was Shakespeare connected or with the globe?
He took part.
Of course, and what else was mentioned? And he was a part owner. Well, he also owned it. Well, any other facts?
His plays are played somewhere in the world every single day.
Great, you are. What else?
All people in the world know about William Shakespeare.
Great, you are. Was it new for you? Well, any other new facts about Shakespeare, about his life, about his works? Evgeny, what was new for you?
The girls have already said it.
Okay, I hope we have learned more about William Shakespeare. Now let's see how well we know his plays. Once again, how many plays did Shakespeare write?
40.
Plays. On sonnets, 37. Which of them have you read? Okay. Well, which of them do you know? Maybe you haven't read, but you have heard about them.
All's well and
Okay. Well, let's see. I will give you this word search, and you must find 17 plays here. Work in groups. Well, you have 5 minutes. They are given. Just find them. Look at the task. Words can go horizontally, vertically, and in all directions. good.
Four.
Well, one more minute. Find as many as you can. Okay, people, stop working. Well, stop. And let's discuss. Well, you will be the first group. Tell us what plays you have found. Give the Russian equivalents and say whether they are tragedies or comedies. So begin, please.
Kim? Yeah.
In Lear, is it a comedy or a tragedy? It's a tragedy. Next.
Antony and Cleopatra. It's not tragedy.
No. Right here.
Romeo and Juliet.
Let's pronounce it in English.
Romeo.
Romeo and Juliet. Juliet,
It's tragedy.
of course.
Othello.
Othello.
It's tragedy.
So you have found the tragedies. What else?
Twelfth Night. It is a tragedy.
Which one?
Twelfth Night.
Does everyone agree that it's a tragedy?
It's comedy.
It's a comedy.
And it's a nice dream. Some little notch. It's comedy.
A comedy. Midsummer Night's Dream. Very good.
And
Good.
It's
tragedy.
No, it's a comedy. Measure for measure. Who can translate it? What is the Russian equivalent? Measure. Мера for measure. За меру. Okay.
Coriolanus. Tragedy.
It's a tragedy. It's a name. Coriolan.
The Tempest.
What?
The Tempest.
The Tempest. What is the Russian equivalent? Who knows? Other groups? Буря. Буря. Well, thank you. You have found a lot. The second group. What other place you have found? Something that hasn't been mentioned.
As you like it, or maybe it's comedy.
Do you know the Russian equivalent?
Как вы любите?
Как вам
Нравится. Как вам нравится?
это понравится?
Taming of the shrew.
Good.
I don't know this comment. Oh,
It's It's a comedy. Who knows the Russian equivalent? Taming of the Shrew. There are a lot of films based on this comedy. One with Celentano. Укрощение строптивой. Right.
Winter's Tale. Зимняя сказка. It's comedy.
Yes, sure. Good.
Macbeth. Macbeth.
Macbeth.
It's tragedy.
Right, your
And Hamlet. It's tragedy.
Hamlet. Very good. Well, the last group, have you found more?
We found Winter's Tale, Зимняя сказка, Midsummer Night Dream,
So something we haven't discussed yet. Can you add?
The Merchant of Venice,
Very good. What is the Russian equivalent? Right, your. Is it a comedy or a tragedy? Comedy. It's a comedy. And is there anything left?
Twelfth Night,
I think we have mentioned.
Julius Caesar.
Julius
Caesar,
Caesar. Right, your. Well done. Now tell me once again, Zhenya, which of them have you read?
Hamlet, Macbeth, and Romeo and Juliet.
Which of them impressed you more?
Macbeth.
Macbeth. Well, what can you say, Katya?
I read Romeo and Juliet and Hamlet, and the best one is Hamlet for me.
Hamlet. Okay, thank you. Now we know, we have revised the plays, and we are going to have some rest. Stand up, please. You can join us. I will give you some words. I want you to mime these words using gestures. Okay. Well, we'll use the same gestures. The first word will be knees. Okay, show, mime. Okay, feet. Feet. Okay. Then, how can you show the word romantic? Let's choose one. Let's show it again. Can you repeat? So, romantic. Good. Heart. Let's choose one. Which one? Okay, like this. Turn. A word which is close. Love. The same. Well, endless. Like this. Endless, бесконечный. Then, do you know the word deliverance? In this song it will mean освобождение, спасение. How can we, like this? Okay, let's try deliverance. Well, do you remember? Let's listen to the song, and every time you hear the word, you must show it. You must mime it.
He's on his knees before he's on his feet. A sinister romantic. Oh, he's about to be, and she's about to see. Teaching torches to burn bright. She's hanging on the cheek of night. A snowy dove trooping with crows. He never saw true beauty till tonight. Don't you know? she's about to be, and she's about to see. His bounty's boundless like the sea. His love is endless, just as deep. The more he gives, the more he has, 'cause both of them are truly infinite. She'll take him to the brink of deliverance, show him that much. Oh, don't you know it? Oh, don't you know it? So he falls in love to feel that it's falling. She'll let him know it's not. Oh, don't you know it? Oh, don't you know it? That's Shakespeare in love.
Okay, in love. Yes, thank you. Take your places. Now we are ready to go on. We have discussed the plays. Now let's move on to the sonnets. So once again, how many sonnets did Shakespeare write?
154.
Yes. You know that on the 25th of April there was a competition, and now we're going to listen to one of our winners. Okay, Vlad, you're welcome. Just a second. By the way, do you know any sonnets by heart? Yes, what number?
119.
Okay. Anybody else? You know the 19th. Okay. And now 148. You're welcome.
Sonnet 148 by William Shakespeare. O me, what eyes hath love put in my head, which have no correspondence with true sight? Or if they have, where is my judgment fled, that judges falsely what they see aright? If that be fair, whereon my false eyes dote, what meaneth the world to say it is not so? If it be not, then love doth well denote love's eye is not so true as all men's know. How can it, or how can love's eye be true, that is so vexed with watching and with tears? No marvel then, do I mistake my view. The sun itself sees not till heaven clears. O cunning love, with tears thou keepst me blind, lest eyes will see thy foul faults should find.
Thank you very much. Well, did you like it?
Yes.
I hope you liked it. And now maybe you will learn one more sonnet by William Shakespeare, and we'll take part in our competition next year. And we'll move on. So, you know that Shakespeare introduced a lot of words into the English language. More words than all other poets and authors of his time. Do you know any of these words? Wow, you will be surprised. I'll give you the papers. Let's read some of them, some of these words. It's task number 1. I'm sure you know these words. Thank you very much. Well, the first column, Ola, can you read the words?
Recommendation, addiction, admirable, amazement, control, countless, critical, downstairs, to educate, employ, employment, questionable.
Thank you very much. The second column, Evgeny.
Me? Fortune teller, hint, as a noun, hostile, invitation, manager, motionless, noiseless, priceless, profitless, on purpose, rustic, satisfying, as an adjective, schoolboy.
Видео специально, намеренно, on
Purpose.
on purpose. Alexander, the last column.
Sportive, successful, to torture, tranquil, unhelpful, upstairs, useful, useless, valueless, vulnerable, well read.
The third word.
To torture.
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 Torture. Who knows the word уязвимый? Who can pronounce it correctly? Vulnerable. Good. Начитанный.
Well read.
Read. Now look at these words again. What can you say? Have you ever thought that they were introduced to the English language by William Shakespeare? No. Well, what can you say about these words, Allah? Are they used nowadays?
Yes, very useful nowadays.
Are they used only in literature or in everyday life?
They are used in everyday life.
What words surprised you?
Successful and admirable.
Well, what about you, Sasha?
To educate, control, noiseless, priceless, motionless.
Okay. Well, remember, now every time you use some word, maybe it was introduced by William Shakespeare. And he also introduced a lot of phrases, idioms into the language. Look at task 2. Please read the phrases and in groups try to guess the meaning, what these phrases mean. Well, think a little bit, discuss in groups. Well, choose one phrase that you know and explain what it means. Женя.
To vanish into thin air. Исчезнуть.
Не обязательно вот исчезнуть, испариться. To disappear, to vanish into thin air. Good. Катя?
To have a heart of gold. Иметь золотое сердце.
I think we have the same in Russian. У него золотое сердце. Well, Арина?
Too much good thing.
Вообще слишком много. Okay, перебор. Well, Евгений?
Maybe fair play. Забавная игра.
Fair. What does it mean? Честная игра.
Честная игра.
Right, you're. Well, Катя? Мгновение ока. Very good. What is left, Alexander?
I don't know. Maybe
Let's take the first. Let's discuss it
to
together.
wear your heart on your sleeve.
Do you know the word sleeve? What can it mean? To wear your heart on your sleeve. To show your emotions openly. Yes, right. And number 2, that's it. Oh, please.
To be as dead as a doornail. Быть мертвым, как...
Who knows the word nail?
Nail?
And one more meaning. Divorced. So, to be as dead as a doornail means just to be dead. Okay, to be dead or to show no life, to be very, very quiet. Well, have you ever used any of these phrases, Allah?
Yes.
Now you can use them and you will know who introduced them into the language. Well, people, Let's sum up. Let's see what we have learned about William Shakespeare. Look at task number 3. Read the statements and think if they are true or false. Discuss it quickly and then we'll discuss it together. True or false? Discuss it together. Well, stop working. Let's see what we have learned today. The first group, take the first 3 statements.
Shakespeare actual birthday, it's true.
Very good. The next.
His wife's name was Liv Tyler. No, it was.
What was her name? Right here. And one more.
During his life, Shakespeare wrote 56 plays. It's false. He wrote 37.
37. Now the second group, 3 statements for you.
His first play was Henry VI, or it's true.
Right here.
Shakespeare introduced nearly 3,000 words into the English language.
Years. 3,000 words. Good.
Boys and men played all the parts in Shakespeare's plays in Elizabeth times. True.
Right here. And the last group, 4 statements.
In 1592, all the theaters were closed because of the war. It's true.
William Shakespeare wrote.
Stop here. The theaters were closed, but why? It was mentioned in the film that we watched in the beginning. In English? Who knows the word? Chuma, it was in the film. Plague. The theaters were closed because of the plague. The next?
William Shakespeare wrote 160 sonnets. I think it's false because he wrote 154 sonnets.
And today we listened to sonnet
Number 148.
48. Well, the next?
The motto of the Globe Theatre was Daughters of Wonders and Greek Historian. I don't know whether it's true.
The English equivalent is all the world is stage. It's true. And the last?
While most people use 2,000 words, Shakespeare used more than 25,000 in his writing.
True.
Yes, remember this fact. If you read Shakespeare's plays, sonnets, you will see how many words, the variety of words that he used. Well, have we learned anything new today?
Yes.
Okay, I hope. Did you enjoy it?
Yes.
That's good. Thank you for your work. That is all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.